Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tata Steel 2023. It is the penultimate round of action, round 12 out of 13, and things are really heating up. In today's recap video, I am going to show you 4 games of chess that Stockfish, the strongest computer in the world, probably looked at and smiled as humans and computers merge closer and closer together to form the perfect chess entity, or cyborg, if you will. There will be a Magnus Carlsen game, and there will be other great games as well. Every game today just featured incredible nuances and elements that I'm going to try to break down for you, right? That's sort of my job here. Your job is to, rate my stares out of 10. And as I said, at 3 million subscribers, maybe I'll explain the stare to you, but we're not there yet. So without further ado, it is a matchup of number 1 and number 2 in the Netherlands. It's basically Barcelona versus Real Madrid. I don't know which one is which in this case. And Jordan plays the move d4. Knight f6, c4. My speakers are really loud. e6 and d5. And Jordan already plays a weird move. He plays pawn takes d5, which to some of you might just be like, I don't understand why that's a weird move. Because normally white at least keeps the tension for a little bit, but Jordan just basically plays an exchange, a queen's gambit declined exchange. No tension in the center, nothing. Now, Anish plays this. Anish could have played whatever. He could have played bishop e7, bishop d6, c6, whatever. But he plays it in what's called a Rogozin move order. Basically what that means, because everything in chess has a name that probably confuses you, this is the Rogozin, and here white can do this. And that's basically what white did in the game, and then played bishop f4. Now, Anish got very aggressive in this game, attacking the knight like this, and then knight c6. And from this point forward, Jordan played 20 moves of top Stockfish move in a row. He had this prepared, meaning he knew all the best moves, he knew all the pitfalls, he knew all the tricks, and he made Anish walk through a field of explosives. So first he played h4. Like, if your opponent in the middle of an opening plays h4, bad news. Unless you're like below 1200, like, you guys know what I'm talking about. You watch a video on YouTube of, some Danish gambit, and then you sit down and this is what you get, right? And you're losing 15 moves, you go, chess is horrible, I hate it. I understand. At this level, when this happens, the guy with black goes, oh God, here we go again. So he develops his bishop, and something very funny happens here. Anish plays takes, bishop a3. Now, if you move the rook to c2 or b1, black takes. If you move the rook to a1, black traps the rook. So what the heck has Jordan done? Bishop a3 is going to lose the rook. Jordan plays rook b1. Jordan's a cultured man. He watches Gotham. He knows about the rook b1 meme. The people who know about the staring meme might not know about the rook b1 meme. Rook b1. And he just gives up the rook. And he really just gonna act like this is normal chess, right? This is, okay, now he plays queen b3, attacks the bishop. Anish comes back. And Anish could have tried to defend everything like this, but he decides to trade the bishops and tries to trade the queens. And Jordan just plays check and comes back. So far, Jordan has played 18 top engine moves. Like, Jordan deliberately did all of this. Knight d5, attacks the knight. Invites the knight in, c5. Pawn chain blocks the queen from coming back. Sacrifices this pawn and castles, and now plays h5. At this point, Jordan is on his own. It only took Jordan 23 moves to not have anything in his memory. And Anish blunders immediately. Now knight g5 is a very strong attack. And in this position, white is actually completely winning. White has a winning move. So Jordan just, beautiful play thus far. And apparently the move rook c1 here is winning for white. The point is that you attack the knight. If the knight just tries to walk out, you take on c5, I believe, attacking the rook. And then here you have bishop f7 and various attacking ideas to get in with the queen. and slowly Stockfish just balloons its advantage. But instead of that, Jordan plays all this engine prep and then does this. And Jordan allows Anish to kind of get back into the game, but the attack is still extremely potent. Look at Anish's rooks desperately defending the king. Have you ever seen rooks reduced to such a role? Now we have knight back to b2. In this position, Jordan had another winning idea according to the computer, which was nothing short of... Again, if Jordan had played this, Stockfish would have had an aneurysm. Knight takes f7. Okay, rook f7. And now the only winning move for white. Try to find it. You won't, unless you're cheating. The only winning move here for white is king h2. It's king h2. You know what the idea of king h2 is? It's the fact that black has no moves. You get out of the check of queen and knight anywhere, and then you just go queen d4. All right, you cut off the king, rook f3, rook g3. That's it. Queen d4, and so on. That's it. King h2 is... Yeah, shut up, Stockfish. Jordan doesn't find that. Which is why Stockfish was also smiling. Because while humans can try to be like engines, they never will be. And this game actually becomes an extremely weird endgame. Where over the next 30 moves, Jordan advances his pawns forward like a gazelle running through the fields. Look at Jordan's pawns go. They fly forward majestically, but Anish does have them blocked, and Anish has a pawn of his own. And while Jordan tries to break through, Anish's pawn makes it all the way down to a2, where it's a permanent problem. And even though Jordan has this massive pawn wall, he can't break through. It's very close. It ends up going 80 moves, but as all good things that have to do with Stockfish, it comes to an end with Jordan allowing Anish allowing Jordan to make a queen, and it's just a draw. The king is stuck. You're not gonna go there because queen and black is gonna win, so king d3, and the players repeat moves in a ridiculous, not all draws are the same. They're not. All right? I mean, they're not. You know, if your two favorite football teams played against each other in Premier League, it was 3-3. Would you be disappointed? I don't know. Maybe you would be. I mean, if you're like a, Tottenham fan, you're probably always disappointed. I don't know. Is that like a good joke? Now, the next game that I have for you is this one. Parham Maghsoodloo versus Arjun Erigaisi. I like this game for two reasons. Number one, it was also an example of ridiculous engine play by Parham. And number two, he played my prep. Now, I didn't give him this prep, but yeah, he played my prep. So it was a Grunfeld. And h3. Now, I have played this. I have played this. Castles are c5. It doesn't really matter. h3. The point is that you prevent bishop g4, which is a very common move to apply pressure to the white position. And there is this line, when we get the exact same position in the game, there is this line where black does this, comes forward with the queen, like this. And when I was looking at this game, he played my line. d5 is my prep to sacrifice this rook. It's not really capturable because the counterattack on the dark squares is too much. But I've actually had this exact position, which was so funny to me. I was like, oh my god. And rook b1 is a move here, sacrificing the a2 pawn, preventing this bishop from moving with pressure. But this is also a line, and I'm pretty sure my prep here was not queen e1, which is what Parham played, but rather queen c1 was my notes. And then it's like this. There's some insane line where like you play rook b7 and white is a little bit better. This is my prep. Now, clearly Parham has something else prepared. And yes, at the international master level, you need to prepare 20 moves and memorize everything. I mean, it's ridiculous. You guys can just 4-move checkmate your opponents. Knight t3 takes. And basically this position is just asking black a bunch of questions. Like, how are you going to defend your pawns? How are you going to defend your pieces? How are you going to defend your queen, which is now trapped in my... You could take this pawn, rook e1, g4, sacrificing a knight. Because you trapped the queen. Oh my god. Oh my god. Queen c8 back. In this game, I think Parham had literally 20-something moves of prep also. 20 moves memorized to get to this position. Which, of course, Stockfish just sits there and says it's equal. It's anything but equal for a human. White has a pawn literally just 2 squares away from becoming a queen. Black is desperately hanging on. White also can create an attack on the king at any moment. Knight g5, queen f4, queen f7, h4, h5, h6, right? Parham plays knight g5, trades, and there we go. I mean, he's doing exactly that. His queenside he does not care about. He chucks the whole queenside. But Erigaisi is also asking questions over here. Essentially, this game is going to come down to a razor-thin margin. Look at this ridiculous move, rook c4. Disconnecting the queen from the defense of the king. Defended. Black now has to kick out a window for his pieces. And finally, after 30 moves of play, Arjun succumbs to the pressure. He had to play f6, inviting the knight in, and then bishop b5 attacking the rook. But it looks like the rook can't be taken because of d7. It can, though. Apparently, there's knight g7, queen c4, take, here, king f7, and this holds. This position is holding for black because you're going to promote. I mean, this is just insanity. Complete insanity. Rook c4, Arjun tries to save his king by kicking out a window. But Parham arrives with 2 pawns, and the attack roars forward. Now, I think the best move might have been knight e4, but it's like very close. f6, f7, hello, oh my goodness. Stockfish is sitting on top of its throne like, oh my god, this is amazing. These peasants are just fighting to the death. It's like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, you know? Just watching the gladiators go. 2 queens on the board for a brief moment, even though both of them can literally be captured. So which one do you capture? You take this one? Okay, queen f7. And let's not forget, I might make a 3rd queen. Parham might literally promote twice. All right? Bishop e8, sacrificing the bishop to deflect the queen from the rook. The queen just comes back. You could push. I'm also going to push. And the thing is, when you take, I come right back. And you can't do this because rook h4. So black goes here and tries to sacrifice. Cold-blooded move here by Parham. Not walking out into the danger zone, but king h2. And he probably slid king h2 over, pressed the clock, and look at Arjun and was like, check me now. And Arjun was like, okay, but here's the difference. Now I can take. And now there's no queen h1 check. Parham's rook survives, and all Parham has to do is grab one of these pawns and make sure it doesn't promote. And he goes in, rook c5, that's it. Arjun resigns, his last pawn is gonna fall. The last dangerous pawn, what a game. I mean, what is this position after f6? What? Look at this. This is insanity. Complete insanity. I mean, the pawns, kings, wide open. All right, there was no rhyme or reason to any of these games. Totally crazy stuff. The Magnus game today was unreal also. So, Magnus took his young opponent out of prep early. And by the way, Pragg recently, went like otherworldly levels of viral in India because he drank out of a flower vase. Just kidding, that was me. But he did go viral, Pragg, for being the youngest player to beat Magnus. And then he did it again, actually. So Magnus knows that his opponent is a very good calculator, and his opponent plays in a very provocative way, putting 6 pawns on light squares. Now, all right, little bit of a quiz for the chess beginners who might be watching. If a person has 6 out of 6 pawns on light squares, which of their bishops is the bad bishop? The one that's on the same color as all the others, right? So the light squared bishop can't really move. You'd be happy trading that bishop, whereas your dark squared bishop needs to stay on the board and needs to be the anchor, because if so many pawns are on light squares, it means the dark squares are like Swiss cheese. Some of you might be lactose intolerant, so you might not even like Swiss cheese. Bishop e4, knight e7, and actually in this game, Magnus trades and gets a very, very imbalanced position early of horsies versus pointed hats. All right? Knights love a closed position. And this is kind of a closed position. It's very locked in the center, and Magnus wants to get a pawn going like this. Like if Magnus can get a pawn to f5, the game is probably over. That's it. All it takes. Because then you get knight d5, f6, and you just get into the position. Okay? He plays rook e3, bishop f5, and now Magnus plays a brilliant and classy move. It's a very high level move here. It doesn't just brute force. No. He undevelops his queen, putting it back on its home square. Why? Because now the queen can join the action on 2 different diagonals, whereas on the original square, even though it had already been developed, it couldn't partake in the action. Remember, in chess, sometimes we mirror life. Sometimes you need to take 1 step back to enrich your further opportunities, your future opportunities, and take 2 steps forward. And a couple moves later, he will begin this F4 operation, and he still can begin this F4 operation. But in this position, Magnus misses a win in 1 move. Okay, it's not really a miss in 1 move. It's like a miss in 2. Pragg just absent-mindedly moved his rook to the e-file. That's only protected by the king. You can actually take it. You could just take it. If I take your rook, this. If I don't take you, you just come back. But if this, very simple. Pin. Just pin. You defend. I attack. You cannot take me. You defend. I attack. Magnus is winning. Knight f7 wins on the spot. And I got news for you. At this level of the game, it is not too complex of a tactic. And after the game, they actually asked Magnus about this, and he went, oh my god, wait, I saw that, and I just forgot about it. And he was upset. Like, Magnus didn't misevaluate it, or like there was no, sometimes we see something that a player misses, and maybe the guy, tells you, well, after queen d7, knight e5, I saw that there's rook e5, and then there's a fork, so take, and d4, and I thought black is getting counterplay. No. He just straight up he just forgot about knight f7. They both did. So Magnus just misses an opportunity to win the game. That's crazy. We almost never see that. Bishop e6, knight a4, and he starts to attack on the queen side. All right? Rook b8, knight comes back. Pragg fights back. Queen a5, bishop g4, targeting the queen. He can't take, queen takes rook. Comes back, check. And now things get ridiculous. Rook e4 attacks the pawn. You have to take the knight, and I take the bishop, and now I'm threatening to take the rook. You've got to move the rook because it's hanging, because if I take it, it's check and you lose. But in this position, the teenage superstar from India, who has already defeated Magnus Carlsen twice in the last year, played the absolutely breathtaking, sensational defensive move, c2. Take a bow. This is brilliant. This is fearless. The point is, you let the goat take your rook with check. You sacrifice the rook, if you will, and you are guaranteed a promotion. You know why? Because he can't do anything about it. Magnus plays f4 and f5, trying to checkmate Pragg. We have 3 queens on the board. Queen c7, only move to defend this and escape with the king. Pragg is a move away from getting mated, but he's safe. This is nuts. Queen f8 is checkmate on the next move, and Pragg finds a queen sacrifice to fork, check, and he's gonna make a draw. Magnus avoids the draw and turns the game into a queen endgame. So Magnus is now going to enter the next phase of the game, which is trying to make a queen. Pragg needs to safeguard his king and use his g-pawn. It's his most advanced pawn. He's gonna lose the queenside pawn for sure. Magnus, meanwhile, is gonna sacrifice the house. He lost all those pawns. He's just going for it. b5, this is nuts. It's gonna come down to the last pawn, ba. 1 square away from promotion for Magnus, but the queen drops back. And look at this. This is the power of the queen. It stands bulletproof, stopping all this. And you can't go and sneak in, because my pawn is a problem too. It monitors the complete opposite side of the board. It's nuts. And ultimately, it takes about 65, 67 moves. But we get another promotion, and then another promotion. I mean, we've seen like 10 new queens in this video, and the game ultimately ends in a draw because there's no shelter for the white king anymore. And it will just, could go on another 50 moves, 150 moves probably, but what a battle. I mean, really, what a battle. Not all draws are the same. Now, if you had the patience to survive 20 minutes, You're about to witness the worst, best chess game I've ever seen. I have various series on my YouTube channel, like Guess the ELO, where I predict your ratings based on your games, or I show a game played by 2-300s. Max Warmerdam is the kid who consistently gets called to the principal's office, but on the chessboard. All right? He is playing against Prag's sister, by the way. Vaishali, Ramesh Babu. Here we go. So, it's a normal opening. It's in English. It's a reverse Grunfeld style. H4. That's how you know we're about to have some fun. Now, Vaishali could respond and not let the kid do anything, right? Just don't let him have any fun. Unfortunately, she lets him have a little bit too much fun. He moves the pawn all the way to H6. The thing is, though, that's not really a problem, right? Yeah, unfortunately, when there's one sign of deviance, there's going to be more. Knight H... What? The bishop now asks the knight what it's going to do. And E4 and G... Oh my... No way, right? You know what Max Warmerdam played now? He played Knight of... Bro, what? This is a grandmaster. This is like the 4th highest rated player in the entire Netherlands. Maybe 5th. This kid's watching. He puts the knight in the center now. Rook F8. I mean, she's just trying to take advantage of the fact that, like, he's not developing any pieces. Bro, he goes bishop A3 attacking the pawn. Right? She could defend it, but she's like, Rook, he's not going to take the pawn. If he takes the pawn, I have, like, all sorts of... Bro, he just takes the pawn. He's not castling. He's got no pawns out, except that one, which, by the way, is a pretty big... And then he just comes back like nothing. Knight comes out to A5. I mean, Vaishali's, all her pieces are out, staring at the white position. And yet, you can't do anything. Now, what does a person do when they have, like, just barely any development? Well, they got to catch up in development, right? Not Max. He goes Knight D5 and trades off his only active piece. And then, this man, I'm not joking. Yo, this man played this. It is the 20th move of the game. 5 out of 6 of his pieces are on home squares. 1 has made 1 move. What is this? How can you get away with playing chess like this? Here's how. D3. Queen C2. Queen B2. Bishop comes out, blocking the rook. Pawn comes out, activating the queen. Rook comes out. What? The point of rook H4 is that he's just going to take Queen F6, mate. Don't believe me? Let me show you. Dude, this dude just castled long. Sacked his rook. Queen F6. Knight F5. Stomps mate on G7, but it's just a matter of time. He just goes here. It's just a matter of time. Bishop takes F5. You can take F3. Not the most accurate move. The computer would have preferred some weird, like, it saw like Bishop F3. He could have trapped the queen, which is kind of funny. But okay, F3, here, Bishop F5, and I mean, the game is just over. He didn't have to go to an endgame. He could have just played Bishop F3 Rook H7, but it doesn't matter. And it's 2 bishops versus the rook, which are just gonna win. 2 bishops versus the rook. This pawn constantly makes sure that the king can't move in H7 is a problem. Bishop F4, Bishop B7, and yeah, we go down to this endgame, but this is a totally winning position for white. You know why? C5. The pawn's just going. It's just gonna go. Between C6, C7, C8, and the collapse of this pawn and this, it's over. And Vaishali just resigns. Rook D5 is impossible. She cannot stop everything. Folks, this is the position on move 19. I mean, are you kidding me? What? How do these people get away with this? I don't know. I'm telling you, somewhere Stockfish is watching this recap going, wow. Wow, this is like incredible stuff. They're playing just like me. Tomorrow we finish Tata Steel, and we can get back to making other videos, thankfully. And yeah, if you want to check out the standings, there's a link in the description. You just have to click the link, and then on the top, you can go to results and standings for challengers and for masters. I'll see you tomorrow. Get out of here.